Happy Friday. Welcome to our parent kickoff meeting for 2020-21 PAC year. It's going to be a weird year. We know that. Some things are going to be different. Obviously, we're not going to be able to meet as a PAC as much. So we've got some things to share with you on how we're going to handle at least the beginning of this program year, and then we'll see how it goes from there. We've got also Marissa is going to give us an update on fundraising as well. So we'll talk about how fundraising will work in this environment as well. So thank you for joining. We're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. Our Zoom meeting will only let us go to 40, but we'll have some time at the end for some questions for anybody that has some questions. But we know it's Friday, it's evening. We want to keep this short and sweet so that you can get back to what you were doing. So again, thank you for your time. So I've got some announcements. First announcement is around our leadership team. We've got some incoming and outgoing leaders. So I wanted to share that first. Kari Finnegan was previously holding the role of committee chair for us last year, and she did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, they have decided not to continue into Scouts this year. And so Kari stepped down. So we are welcoming Jim. Jim Walsh has joined us. For those of you might remember Jim, he was the assistant den leader for the Arrow of Light den last year. And his daughter Shay is joining as a Lion this year. So Jim is joining as the committee chair as well as the Lion den leader. So he's going to hold two hats. So welcome, Jim. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for agreeing to that 1 hour a month that it takes to be a committee chair. Appreciate that. We also have Jenna, is it Sundine, is Jim's sister-in-law, I believe. And I've already forgotten the name that you texted me. Is oh my God, Lyndon. Yeah. So Lyndon is joining as a Lion as well. So Jenna is going to assist Jim as the Lion den leader. So thank you, Jenna, if she's on the line. If not, pass our thanks along. So we've got some additions to our leadership team. We've got some outgoing leaders. We still have some space. So if there's parents out there that are willing to strap on a brown shirt, we would welcome that. If you don't want to wear the shirt, we've got roles that don't require the shirt. So, this is my last year as Cub Master. We don't have an assistant Cub Master role. I've said it in several meetings, but we're continuing to get that push out there that we need to have somebody in that space. We've also got some den leader assistants that we might need throughout this year. We've got some den leaders that are going to be able to be more engaged than others due to COVID. So, we have a lot of opportunities out there for some parents to step in and, as we say, help carry a bucket up the hill. So please reach out to Jim or I if you've got any interest, or just reach out to your den leader. They can point you in the right direction. So. The other announcement, and you've probably seen this communication come through from the council. They've maybe sent you, I know they've sent you several emails and even a letter in the mail about the new registration process. They are adopting a new process for annual registration, as well as they have adjusted the fees this year. We have, it's a fairly dramatic increase, I will say. It went from $33 a year to join Scouts to now $180. So that $180 is now taking place of also Friends of Scouting as well. So it's absorbing some of the push that we see towards the January period for additional donations that are received from the families. So they're limiting Friends of Scouting. They are increasing the fees to $180. What is nice about that is a little bit of that, about $20 of that, comes back to the PAC so that we can use that for things like Pinewood Derby cars, Class B shirts, things like that. So some of it does go back to the Scouts, where in previous years those registration fees did not come back to the PAC at all. I will say, though, that if that 180 is a challenge for anyone, there is an anonymous scholarship available. The leadership team here will know nothing of it. nor will anyone else. So you can just click the appropriate button when you go through that registration process. If you haven't registered for the year, please do so. There should be several emails in your inbox already if you haven't seen those, but there is a link in your email box that will guide you to how to register. Let's see. The other small announcement, which is no small announcement, is we do have our annual recruiting event next week on Thursday in the Highland parking lot. We're going to be there from 5 to 7. Graham's going to have some water rockets for us, so lots of fun there. If you've got anybody that is interested, friends or family, or siblings of current PAC members that are coming in, it's a great opportunity for us to get to know you and to answer any questions for folks that might need guidance in signing up for Scouts. So spread the word. I've got a little poster type shareable media. I don't know what you would call it, but it's a little marketing thing that's out on Facebook that I would love it if you share that, share the details. If they can't make it next Thursday, joincubs.org. It's simple. All they got to do is once you get in there, you can find us by school, by state, or by PAC number, or by zip code. So you can find us pretty easily that way. So, so if you got anybody that wants to sign up, now's the time. And we'd love to hear from you. I think that's the major announcements before I get into some of the other stuff where we go through the program dates and the fundraising. Jim, did I miss anything from an announcements perspective? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or go off mute?
I think you got most of it.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the program year. In a bit here, Marissa's going to splash up some dates for you to plug into your calendars, which we will also put into Scout Book, so you'll get the reminders. But our program year is going to look a little different. Obviously, we can't meet as a PAC. Our PAC is about a little over 40 people. And then when you add in parents, or 40 Scouts rather, when you add in parents, we can get easily a group size of 100 people, which is well outside of the accepted guidelines for gatherings. So that's going to make some things challenging. So we're going to move to a more den-centric year. Our budgeting that we normally spend on PAC-centric activities is going to be sent more towards the dens, so the dens will have more resources to at their disposal to have activities at a smaller scale. So if you haven't heard from your den leaders already, you will be hearing from your den leaders in the next few days on what their plans are, or the rough schedule. Of course, it's all subject to COVID changing on us, but it's going to be definitely more den-centric. Russ is going to talk a little bit in a minute about what that looks like. He's going to share kind of an example just from one den's perspective that I think relatively applies to how all of the dens will work. But for now, I wanted to share some things that are at the PAC level. So we are still going to do some things at the PAC level, whether that's going to be at Zoom, or we're going to do things outside, or we'll gather it as dens and then we'll Zoom in together. We are going to still try to do some PAC-centric things. In addition to that, I'm going to try to make the rounds into as many den meetings as possible this year so that we can still kind of present awards at a more PAC level, but in the den environment, and things of that nature. And with that, also, I should say, I wanted to say this in the announcement, is that for those that have been wondering, last year's awards in my round robin of coming to the den meetings, I will be presenting last year's awards as well, so that we didn't get a chance to have our fun ceremonies where we present ranks and new neckerchiefs and things of that nature. So we will be giving everybody their new neckerchief for their next rank. We'll get their rank patches if they've earned them last year. Any kind of outdoor awards or religious awards, I'll be presenting those in your den meetings throughout this fall. So as it relates to a PAC, we've got some dates here. Marissa's going to go into some finer details from the fundraising program, but we've got fundraising kicks off next week, September 19th, and it goes through October 27th. So she'll share all the details there. I'm not going to steal her thunder. I did mention, but it's not on here, next week, we've got our recruiting event. That's Thursday. So if you want to jot that down and spread the word again, that would be helpful. But we also, for those new parents coming in, we've got a meeting that we'll conduct on Zoom on the 27th for just some new parent orientation. If you are still a new parent and you signed up last year and you still can't really figure out how to navigate through this Scout thing, and maybe COVID has made it even more complicated and you've got more broader questions that can't be answered today, feel free to come to that new parent orientation as well. We can answer your questions there. Fun thing that we've got in October, we're going to do our fall family camp, but we're going to condense it more into a day camp instead of an overnight. We will have an overnight for some of the older Scouts, but largely the pack will just be a day camp where we'll have a rotation schedule so that we won't have everybody together at once. We'll have some stations set up so we won't have everybody gathered at the same place at the same time. We've got a lot of fun thoughts on how those stations will be managed. So some fun activities that will be great. And the troop has offered to loan us, let us use their carport. So we will have this giant tent outside. So, we will be able to have the event regardless of weather. So that's fun. And then also in October, we're going to have our Halloween party. So this will be an opportunity for the dens to get together, dress up in their Halloween costumes and have individual Halloween parties, but then we'll Zoom in together so that we'll all Zoom in at once into a kind of a virtual environment. So that will be also lots of fun. We've got our November pack meeting is kind of TBD. We'll see how COVID treats us through that, as well as if you fast forward we've got our holiday party in December as well. We'll see how that looks, but largely it'll probably be, a gathering such as a dens meet together and we Zoom in. Fundraising take orders. Marissa will go into more details on that as well, but we've got our pickup and distribution weekend is that weekend before Thanksgiving, just like it always is. That'll be here at the Jazusko house. We'll be filling our garage full of lots of evergreens for you to come pick up. And then, I've got a couple of items going into 2021. Again, COVID is going to be the culprit here on whether or not we can hold these. We've got the sledding night. We should be able to keep that on as long as there's snow. Pinewood Derby is towards the middle of January. We'll have more details on whether or not we'll be able to hold the Pinewood Derby this year. I'm still waiting for some council guidance on that, on how that's going to be run. It will look different. It probably won't be as a pack, but it will be kind of dens and shifts if we do have it. Polar Cubs, another opportunity for us to gather outside is in February. That's always a fun time to have lots of snow and cold weather bound activities. And it's an opportunity for some of the older Scouts for a camp out as well, if possible. And then Blue and Gold, details TBD. We'll figure out that as we get along the year, but we've got that scheduled for February 27th. I've omitted March, April, and May into our schedule here. We do still plan on having a May camp out. It may be a day camp again. March and April are always every year. We always kind of shoot from the hip. So I didn't put those in there. As we get those plans more solidified, we will share those. So that's the program year for the packs. The dens will have their own schedules. The dens will work kind of more intimately. They'll have an opportunity to work on some rank advancement stuff, but also on some fun things. I do want to give Russ kind of an opportunity to share from his perspective what he's started to do with his den already, so that you can kind of get an understanding of what all the other dens are going to be doing. So Russ, do you want to kind of share from your perspective what your plan has been?
Absolutely. So first, great to see everyone again. Kind of got stuck in personally got stuck in a rut in September, or not September, this spring, and then through the summer is kind of stuck in my own house, not doing much. And then had the opportunity to go to summer camp kind of in August with the kids. And it was just invigorating for me to see the kids together and just see how much fun and excitement they had. It wasn't the regular camp, but they're just so excited to see their friends. And that was very encouraging and just like got me all fired up to get going again. So I tried to keep that momentum going with the kids. I had a couple meetings already They do look different. They started earlier, and I'm trying to meet outside as much as possible, just because outside is safer than inside. Keep masks on all the time and do our best to keep the kids from climbing on each other. There's only so much we can do about it, but we do, a couple of things that we did at camp was just helicopter arms, airplane arms, make sure that they're not touching anyone. Try to keep the masks on all the time. We've been indoors, especially. We've been trying to meet outside as much as possible, outside and in garages, just to maximize airflow and give ourselves as much room as possible. Every den leader's got different spaces available. We may, as you've heard from Jake, schedules are going to be very flexible. Meetings are not going to be may not be in as consistent of locations as they were last year. So we might end up bopping around a little bit depending on room availability and what we need to accomplish and what may be Zoom meetings. We'll try to sprinkle in a few Zoom meetings, probably as few as possible, just because in person is so much better. Health is obviously a concern. If you have any concerns, just reach out to your den leader. We want to get as many people involved as possible and want everyone to feel as safe as possible. So let us know what you're comfortable with, and we'll work with you so you can be as active as possible with the den.
Great. Thank you, Russ. I appreciate that. Yes, on that last note, I want to just talk about that, is that it's certainly let your den leaders know what level of comfort you have on meeting. If you're not comfortable with meeting, there are plenty of ways to scout at home. We demonstrated some great things last year. I know that the council is working on other ways to scout at home. And then also, your den leaders can work to have kind of a hybrid in-person versus and Zoom type approach to some of their den meetings as well when possible. So certainly don't let this COVID, the restrictions discourage you from, that but stay safe. That if you're not comfortable with the plan that den leader has for that specific activity, that's totally understandable. So with that, I have probably not left enough time for Marissa. So she's already cursing my existence, but she's my wife, so what else is new? So I'm going to turn that over to her. She's going to talk about what has changed and what is the same with fundraising. So take it away, Marissa.
All right. Well, we are definitely going to need to do a fundraiser this year. And we are going to have some changes due to COVID and product changes and all of that. So what I'd like to do is kind of just review what it's going to look like and how we're going to get the information to you. And I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, but there's a lot to cover. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to me directly. I hope you all know that. My name's all over everything. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to start with what you're going to receive is probably this weekend yet sometime. I'm going to email out to the PAC your virtual fundraising folder, because we can't logistically get to everybody. We're going to try to get you the documents virtually this year. So you're going to get a folder that's going to look like this, and it's going to have just pretty much these 4 things. First one is going to be the order form you guys are all familiar with. You can print that out on your own, and as it will be a PDF document, you can print it out as much as you need to. If you're filling it up like crazy, fantastic, I love it, and you can print them to your heart's content. The next thing I want to go through is the fundraiser folder documents that should mostly look familiar. This is kind of why we do fundraising. We get a little bit of kickback from the money that we get from registration fees, but most of our activities are funded by the money we raise fundraising. And based on our current activities or activities that we do in a normal year, we're typically about $240 a scout to run our program, and we just don't get enough to cover that. So our fundraising allows us to do all these super fun activities that we typically do as a pack, like the Ninja Warrior course and the water park and things like that, that we may or may not be able to do come this summer. But we are, as Jake said, going to funnel the majority of our budget this year to den-centric activities so that we can hopefully do some of these still fun activities, but on a smaller scale at the den level, where it's more group appropriate or group size appropriate. So last year we said to get in line with what the council was doing, we were going to raise our goal. And based on our current environment, we decided to just go ahead and not do that this year. If things go back to normal, you might look to see that we might do that next year. But for right now, we are going to leave our goal at the $550 in sales that we have always had, or that we have had last year. And also leave our buyout at the $185 mark. So if you don't want to sell at all, you are welcome to write the check for $185 and call it done. But we encourage scouts to participate. They really, really enjoy it, honestly. And there's lots of different ways to make this goal. It's actually much easier than that number might seem. We have some storefront opportunities I'm going to talk about in just a minute. Hitting the neighborhood is a great way to do it, door to door like that. And hitting the strip malls, your local, the Apple Valley, there's tons of them. Hit those small businesses, they can write off the donations and they will buy wreaths like crazy. Hit family and friends and mom and dad's coworkers, grandma and grandpa's coworkers, aunts and uncles' coworkers, hit up all the coworkers. And then there's a new online program this year that we're going to talk about that is much different than the online we've had in the past. So we'll get into that in a little bit. The other thing I want to talk about is if you are able to do a bunch of selling, but you don't quite hit that $550 mark, what happens then? I have an example here where someone sells $350 in retail sales. That equals at a 38% commission rate, if you're wondering what that number is, $133 in commission for the pack. So if you're looking to provide $185 to the pack, we will then give you credit for the commission you've earned, which would mean that your remaining buyout would be the difference of the $185 minus what you earned in commission. For a $52 buyout would be your portion. I know that was a lot of numbers, so if that doesn't make sense and you have questions about that later, feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to explain it to you again. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit about storefronts and how that's going to look this year with COVID. We did have some stores drop out, and so we had only 43 shifts are now available this year, and they are only at Ace Hardware in Apple Valley and Cub Foods in Rosemont. We have decided to drop the shifts from 2 hours down to an hour and a half, since the kids will have to wear a mask the whole time they're there. We are going to ask that the number of scouts working a shift be limited to one family, one scout family. So if you, like us, we have 3 children in our family, but currently now only 2 Cub Scouts. Only our 2 Cub Scouts would be okay to come and work the shift. We don't need any outside siblings to come. Unfortunately, we can't encourage that. So my older Boy Scout can't come and work and be helpful, because we want to keep it as small a group as possible. A smartphone is required to work a storefront this year, because we have to run the cash register through the Trails End app for storefront for inventory purposes. So if you don't have a smartphone, then I will, I guess, need you to somehow get a smartphone if you would like to work the shift, or borrow someone's or something like that, where you can get the app, and it's a free app. You can delete it after fundraising if your friend doesn't want you to keep it on there, but we do need a smartphone. Please be sure that the scouts are always dressed in their full Class A uniform when they're selling at a storefront, and that the scouts are not handling any money or running the app directly. They should be familiar with the product, bringing people in, answering questions. They can hand out the popcorn, but really the money needs to be handled by the adults. How we break it out is all monies are earned as a wage, and so we will divide the number of, or the dollar amount by the number of shifts that were worked. So if you work more shifts, you get a bigger piece of the pie, so to speak. And I think I'm trying to go really fast because I don't want to run out of time. After tonight, you can sign up for storefronts. So we will talk about how to do that in a second, but the storefronts are live to be signed up for. So gonna keep moving. These are our dates for the fundraiser specifically. Remember, all of these documents will be sent to you via email. And so you will have a copy of this. You will be able to read it all on your own. So you can take a quick peek here. And remember, all of this is also updated both in the Scoutbook calendar as well as in the Trails End app, where you will go to sign up for these storefronts. Lastly, I just want to point out that the fundraiser does end. You have to stop selling on October 25th, and money is due to your den leaders on October 27th. And then you will pick up any take order items from my home the Friday, the 20th of November, or Saturday, the 21st of November, in the way we kind of always have for those of you that are familiar. All right, so that is the fundraiser folder documents. So give me just a second. I will pull up this other screen and we will talk about what we're, what our products are going to look like. So there are some changes. Okay. They have reduced greatly the amount of options that are available to us this year in person. So for both take order and storefront, it is just these options that you see here in front of us. The cheese lovers, the unbelievable butter is no longer microwave. It is now a pre-popped bag, and they are selling it for $15. The popping corn has increased in size and has increased in price to $15, and it is no longer a bag that can very easily open up. It is a nice bigger jar. Caramel corn's the same, the salted caramel is the same, and then they added the blazing hot, and then the white cheddar is the same. And then if you notice, the cheese lovers collection has been increased by $5 this year. So, and the hometown heroes is either $30 or $50 instead of $25 or $50. So those are the main changes to the storefront and take order. If you if you're at storefront and you've got somebody who's familiar with our inventory and they are like, where's the chocolate? You can show them the direct ship. This is the online direct. So this is going to be our new online program. And as you can see, there is a lot more options available online, including your chocolate stuff, including some caramels that are new. And that's where you can get your microwave popcorn, but just the unbelievable butter. There is no kettle corn available this year. We are also selling coffee this year through the online direct. They are only available in the little Keurig cups. And there are bundles that are available, as you can see down at the bottom. And the downside to the online direct is that there is shipping. It is $7.99 for the first item and 99 cents for each additional item. And when you do buy a bundle, it is charged per item. So if you have a bundle of 3 items, it's $7.99 plus 99 cents plus 99 cents. So it is an unfortunate, I agree, before you say anything, it is an unfortunate shipping promotion. However, I do believe that Trails End is going to do some free shipping weekends throughout our sale that our council is planning to take advantage of. So I will pass on everything I hear as I hear it. So please watch your emails, because that is my direct form of communication. And I will let you know the minute I know that there is free shipping available. Moving on, let's talk about our evergreens. And I did add 3 new products to our evergreen lineup this year. We have the grave stand. I don't know if you can see this, if you guys have the people there, but the grave stand I added, as well as this Christmas cane wreath and the mailbox swag. So those are added onto our inventory for the prices you see there. And all of the documents have been, like the order forms and everything has been updated appropriately. Lastly, let's talk about our prize program, which has been streamlined this year to allow for not getting stuck with not being able to provide the prizes at the end of the program that I offered at the beginning due to COVID. So I have chosen what I thought might be the most popular gift cards available. If your child has a gift card that would motivate them to go out and sell $1 million, you please let me know and I will be happy to go find that gift card for your child. How it works is for every $200 you sell, you earn a $10 gift card. If you want to stack up all your gift cards and get a $100 gift card at the end, I don't care. If you want to get 10 different gift cards to 10 different things, I don't care. You just tell me how you want to do it at the end, and how much you earn is totally up to you. If you do just your bare minimum goal, essentially you are looking at a $20 gift card. Okay. That's pretty down and dirty on the products. I went pretty fast through that. The only other thing I really wanted to, I won't keep doing that. The only other thing I wanted to do or the only thing I wanted to share with you is this last document I put together, which I'm calling the Fall Fundraiser Instruction Guide. And I'm gonna go through that as fast as I can, so we have time for questions. And really, the first is most everybody probably already has the Trails End app, but if you don't, this is where you'll find how to register for the app. Very like step by step, pretty basic. This is your Trails End app dashboard. Most important here, do you guys see the people or can you see the full screen? I'm not sure. Do you see the pictures of everybody? Can anybody tell me? Do you see the full screen, Russ?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So at the bottom, you'll see I have crossed off that we don't do wagon sales. Wagon sales means that you are door to door with people and you are handing them product as you go. We don't do that. So you'll never use that. You will use the online direct from this screen. You will use storefront from this screen. And up here in the corner is a good symbol to remember that you can share forms throughout this app with your customers. So if you are sitting at a storefront and you are wanting to collect credit card information, you can actually share the credit card form to them and they can fill it all in themselves. It's a good way to not have shared devices passing things back and forth or speaking your card private information in front of other people. One other thing is remember that as a PAC, we run a separate prize program because we're technically running 2 fundraisers at the same time. And so all of the prizes that you see through the app are not applicable. We do our own, that is our gift card program. We do that ourselves so that we give you credit for the full sales and not just the popcorn. The Trails End app is solely for popcorn. You cannot do anything evergreens through it. On the storefronts, where you click on storefronts, that's where you will be able to sign up for a storefront shift. It is super easy. You find the date of the storefront and then the time you want, and you just click sign up. You will see I have it here that you can only sign up for one scout. So if you have I don't remember if Nick Miller's on the phone, but he has 3 kids in scouts. And so if he wants all 3 of them, he can only sign up 1, and then just shoot me an email and let me know that all 3 of your kids are going to work that shift, and I'll make a note of it on my end so they all get credit. So anybody with duplicate kids, that's how we're going to have to handle that this year. Let's see. All right, this is real down and dirty how you do a sale. Everybody should probably be pretty familiar with that. However, since we have the limited inventory, and since you're working 1 scout at a time this year, I'm going to see what happens if I let you cross sell. So I'm hoping that it doesn't get too crazy, but if you would like to do a chocolate sale or a bundle sale or a coffee sale or whatever through the online direct, you will have to log out of the storefront on the app, because you'll have the storefront login that we always use, and then you'll log into your Scouts personal login, which I have kind of detailed how you can do that quickly here, and you can offer them the online direct through the app, which you can see is pretty much exactly how you would run the storefront. And then, like I said, you can also send them these forms to complete themselves. Okay, remember to discuss shipping if we don't have free shipping, so that nobody's surprised by that extra fee at the end. Take orders. This year, in addition to cash and checks, we are looking to allow you to use our Square account to be able to accept credit cards for your take orders. So I have put together kind of like a generalized FAQ deal here. If you want to take a look at that, you do not have to register for the Square app if you don't want to, because you just then can't take credit cards. It's just really a way for you to be more flexible and just trying to offer as many avenues to fundraise and get as many sales as possible, because I know it will be challenging this year. I have created a unique ID for each of our Scouts to be able to utilize our Square account and me be able to track who sold what. But the only way for you to do that is to register. You will receive an email from me, or it will actually come from Square, that will ask you to register. Again, your choice, totally up to you. However, each individual Scout must be registered with an individual email address. So my Scouts cannot share my email address. They will each need their own. So if you have more than one within your house, a husband, wife, or whatever, you can each give their own, or make up a new one through a free email account or something like that. At storefronts, if you have someone who's familiar with our Evergreen program and they want to, and you are willing to deliver that Evergreen to them, you are welcome to take an Evergreen order at storefronts this year, because again, only one Scout family is working at a time. So I am like offering you cross sales all over the place. It could turn into a nightmare, I'll tell you that up front, but we're gonna do our best to hope it doesn't. So I have also included here how to register on the Square app, and also how to use it generally. But it should be pretty basic if you can use the Trails End app. And then I put this together because I know there's a whole lot and it's very confusing on which app you should use when. It's pretty much, if you're going to use anything for Evergreens, you should do it through the Square. And if you're in a storefront or doing something online, you need to use the Trails End app. All right, that was my pretty quick. I'm not sure if I covered everything, but I would like to open it up for questions, specifically on fundraising. But if you have questions for Jake or Russ or anybody of the other leaders, I'm sure they're happy to answer questions as well.
Maybe we can unmute lines. Are you able to do that, Marissa?
Let me see.
And I believe it looks like somebody may have extended our meeting because they've got the super secret Zoom keys. So whoever may have done that, thank you, because it looks like we didn't get disconnected. But if we did, Jim, set up another Zoom meeting and we'll send out the details if we get cut off here. But does anyone
I actually got a message that it was extended. I don't know if you heard me.
Oh, yes, we heard you, Stefan.
There was a pop-up screen that said, okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to end at 7:40, but now it's 7:41. And we're still...
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Stefan.
Okay, sorry. My question is, I wasn't sure how many Scouts we have, and then with the signups, are we to like sign up for one slot to begin with to give people a chance, or is it just you sign up? I don't know. I fear that I'll miss the, I'll miss the boat and not be able to sign up for a
Absolutely.
shift.
No, that's a great question. And in the past, I have asked that we do just one to begin with, just to make sure that we're fair and equitable. I'll be perfectly blunt. I'm not expecting a huge 20-person registration of new scouts this year. So I'm feeling like I want to make sure that we don't waste the storefronts and not utilize the ones that we do have. So if you are willing to work it, then go ahead and sign up for it. And if I have a situation where there are people that are desperate for a storefront and you are somebody that has signed up for a whole bunch, I may reach out to you personally and ask if you would be willing to let go of a storefront for someone else. That being said as well, I meant to also tell you, we had talked about anybody that may have a difficult time meeting the goal or needing to pay for the buyout. We had a great suggestion, and I can't remember whose idea it was, but allowing the scouts themselves to make a donation to another scout that might need help meeting their goal because for whatever reason they're not able to go out and door to door because of COVID or because of some other reason. They're not comfortable doing the fundraising, but they still want to participate and they didn't quite make it. If your scout has gone gangbusters and has extra and would like to donate some of their funds to help other scouts meet their goal, we are looking to set up a side fund and track that and allow for that to happen as well. So that is something we've not done before, but something that I thought might be exceptional for this year. Did that answer your question, Stefan? I'm not sure.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Anybody else?
All right. Well, no questions on fundraising. How about on the program year and how the PAC is going to operate in a more dense-centric environment? Does anyone have questions there? All right. Well, hearing none.
I think there's some hands that are starting to raise.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I am not able to see that, so that's maybe something on me. How do I see that? Maybe.
I thought I saw adults raising hands. Am I wrong?
no, I think it was a balloon. It's okay.
Okay.
I saw that too.
My bad. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, it's Friday evening, and we don't want to keep anyone from any sort of evening plans. So thank you very much for joining. Appreciate your time. We did record this session, so we'll send it out. So if you got distracted, we'll let you rewatch it. We'll also, for those that missed it, they'll be able to see it as well. Marissa will be sending out some materials over the weekend that will include everything that you saw in today's presentation. So you'll have that as well. We look forward to a great program year. So thank you for joining and have a great night, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
Jake.
you.
Thanks, Russ. Thanks, Marissa.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
guys.
Thanks, Marissa.
Bye.
Everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good job putting together the information there, Marissa. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry I was late. I forgot about it until it's too late. So I'll have to go watch the video when you send it.
Yeah,
No problem.
that'll come
Yeah.
up this weekend.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
I like the beard, Mike. It's looking
Thanks.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Take care, Ryan.
Bye-bye.
All right, Jake, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow,
Have
bright
fun,
and early.
boys.
Don't
Yeah.
fall asleep at the wheel.
Setting up in the rain, maybe. It's supposed to
Yeah.
rain until like afternoon.
80% chance of rain and like a high of 60, so it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Better you than me.
All right.
All right, have a good evening.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.